It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
So, Jerry, you're the owner of one of the biggest global brands there is. You're also a huge fan on top of everything else. So I'm wondering, when things don't go exactly the way you want them to, how does that stick with you if you don't get it done on a Sunday? Are you able to kind of wash it away and say, well, get ready for the next day? Or are you like the rest of us fans? You're like, this stinks.
No, I'll tell you what, I can get lower than a crippled cricket's ass. Okay, so but I have to get it back up again. Okay.
He did not say that.
No, seriously. But
get ready for Jerry Jones quotes. It's football season. It's August, so everybody want to talk to Jerry, and he will give us homespun humor, PK. I thought you'd be excited. Jadeveon Clowney returning to Houston, signed a contract with the Texans. He was the number one overall pick of the Texans back in 2014, played there till 2018. He's been around the league, and now he's going back. Does he have anything left in the tank? Houston's defense was really good last year. Can they get the offense going? Rams defensive end Myles Garrett missed his third straight practice due to soreness in his lower body. Head coach Sean McVay said the team is being cautious early in camp, so I'll have him sit out. Not a big deal. Nothing to see here. Very high expectations for Myles Garrett and the Rams defense. Saints wide receiver Julian Polk opted to retire less than a week into training camp. The 24-year-old former second-round pick of the Patriots had been traded to New Orleans last summer, never played for the Saints, as he's already on season-ending reserve due to a shoulder injury. So he is stepping away from the game. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
The class-wide ruling from a judge in Colorado granting all 2022 class athletes fifth year of eligibility clarified a ruling yesterday, say the ruling does not include football players who signed pro contracts this summer and then had a change of heart. The ruling also indicates there will not be a transfer portal for athletes to look at other programs unless they previously entered the portal during the open window. And why would they have done that? They weren't going to have a year of eligibility anyway. So, some limitations. Some freshmen and sophomores getting squeezed there, PK. If all those fifth years are going to be eligible. Opportunity for one person is lack of opportunity for another, but on to the fifth year.
That's interesting in what's going on in the world. I'm going to remember you said that.
Yeah. The Big Ten and SEC agreed over the weekend to support the Protect College Sports Act after they had a wild week of negotiations, and they got the bill on path to be voted on in the Senate this week before they go to a month-long summer break starting on Friday. So, Big Ten and SEC getting what they want, or at least getting enough of what they want to get on board. A five-time All-Pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins is joining Georgia Tech staff as an assistant wide receivers coach while he continues to keep his option to play in the NFL Open. He said he is not yet officially retired. So keep your eye on him for whatever good team has some injuries and needs somebody midseason.
Not a bad team, though?
No, they tend to play young guys and not invest, but yeah. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
Feel like they're contenders?
For sure. I mean, you don't think so?
No, I'm just asking you.
Last time they put three 20-point scores on the team, they said it was unfair, which is the team I was on.
Yeah.
They got 4 25-point scores on this team. So, hell yeah, I think they're going to be a contender, man. They're going to be a great team to watch.
That's Kevin Durant asked about the new-look 76ers now that LeBron James is there. Do they have the firepower to win an NBA title? He forgets nothing, PK. He remembers the criticism he got back in 2017 and 18 when they won titles.
I don't talk NBA in August.
Yeah. Victor Wembanyama gets a signature sneaker deal from Nike. It's got to be about a 0% surprise to that. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited. They got a good group. You hear everything across the way. I'm excited, though. The goal was always to win a World Series, for the city, for the organization. That took a chance on me. So, yeah, it's tough. I love all those guys in there. They're some of my best friends, and, yeah, it'll be tough for sure.
The Dodgers trade for Tigers ace Tariq Skubal. Biggest trade ahead of the MLB deadline. They already had a lot of pitching. Now they have a lot more. They're the two-time World Series champs. I guess now they don't need Ohtani in the rotation. They can move him to the pen or just leave him in the outfield. Leave him in the DH.
I've been saying don't pitch him for
Yep.
years now.
Yep.
So no need for it.
Got any hope for anybody else to take down the Sox just swept them and are 23-3. Is Boston their kryptonite? Is Milwaukee? There's some anticipation if Skubal went there that they'd have two guys at the top of the rotation who could beat the Dodgers. And while the Dodgers did win the last two, it wasn't easy. They had to battle in series in both those years.
Well, as usual, I think you answered your own question.
Yep. Dodgers send 3 prospects, but none of their top 5 prospects get to protect the top of their minor league system. Cubs acquire Toronto Blue Jays right-handed pitcher Kevin Gausman in exchange for 2 prospects. They needed another starter for the rotation as the Cubs lead the wild card. They're 6.5 behind the Brewers in the division, but they lead the wild card hunt. So looking for a little help for the playoffs, assuming that they hold on to that spot with about 50 games to go. And the Yankees added slugger Luis Garcia Jr. from the Nationals in exchange for 4 right-handed pitching prospects. Garcia led the National League in slugging percentage before the trade. So, Yankees down with injuries, need a bat. Not that he can replace Aaron Judge, but hey, need a lot of help, right? On the field, impressed with the Astros sweeping the Rangers, taking the lead in the AL West?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
Thanks, Doc. That'll make for a good show.
Your guy. It's a long season, man. Things can happen.
Astros 2.5 up, so plenty of things can happen in the last 50. But things change quickly. They've won 6 straight, and the Rangers have lost 5 straight. The sweep's part of that, but like you said, 1 week and everything flips around. Padres and Diamondbacks battling for a wild card. Start a series today. You revved up for that one? Or chasing the Dodgers, what does it matter?
On the advice of counsel, I am.
You are? Your lawyer told you to be excited about this game? This series?
Sure, yeah. I mean, we're in August now, man. These games matter. It's not do or die, obviously, but still, they're very important.
Diamondbacks and Phillies are tied for the second and third wild card, and the Padres are a game back. So the Bees, now talk about things changing. That was a bad week. They got swept, lost 6 in a row to Sugar Land. They got a 7-game losing streak. Gave up 2 in the 9th. Looked like they might snap the streak, but no. They get beaten. Off today, they'll play the Dodgers, Oklahoma City, tomorrow. DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
Sanabria tries to send a ball into Salon's. Cut out. Good step by Baumgartel. Held in, though, by Caliscan. Caliscan to Saba. Flick around the keeper. And a goal! And RSL scores. Salons rounds the keeper. The assist to Saba, and RSL against the run of play has scored just short of the hour mark. But they made a big mistake, gave up a goal later, and it ends 1-1. They split the points. They've still never lost in St. Louis, and they pick up 1 point and come home now to get ready for Leagues Cup. They're playing Tigres tomorrow night at America First Field. The first 45 minutes of that game, PK, if you weren't watching, you didn't miss much. That's why people don't like soccer. That's why people say it's boring, kicking it around. Now, they were down 5 starters, so
Yeah,
I get the whole defensive mindset.
That.
Yeah, the whole defensive mindset that they don't usually play, and they had 5 in the back, and they usually have 3 and put the other 2 guys up attacking.
I don't think that's a fair. It's an outside assessment, but I don't think it's a fair assessment under the circumstances. You got to do what you got to do.
And the starters, some of them were missing. I mean, obviously, they're missing Gozo, who's just very important. Morgan Giavogi, who's very important. Justin Glad, who's very, very important. I mean, they were missing some guys who are big-time difference makers for them. And how many of those guys will be back for the League's Cup? Well, Giavogi will, because that was a 1-game suspension for the red card. Gozo, it depends on how things went yesterday and how they're going today. That was going to be a decision made in the last 24 hours, according to Pablo Saturday night. So we'll see what today holds. And Justin Glad, that's long-term. So I don't think we'll see him in the League's Cup. And it'll either be late August, more likely September before we see him. Utah Royals gave up a goal in the first minute and then scored 5 straight. And they beat the Portland Thorns and they've been 1, 2, or 3 in the league all year, and they're staying in the top quarter of the league with that win. DJ and PK.
#golf.
Michael Thorbjornsen rolling over the weekend, wins the Rocket City Classic, 18 under. Zach Blair and Patrick Fisher tied for 50th at 4 under. Tony Finau shot a 77 on Sunday. He finished 2 over, tied for 71st. Big
Fishburne,
excuse me. Big win for Thorbjornsen.
Yeah.
Breaking through.
For sure.
And in the Rocket City Classic, that's one of the tournaments expected to go away. Which I don't get. Isn't that a Detroit tournament? Are they in Michigan? I thought they want to go to major markets. Detroit's a top 20 market.
You're
what are they doing?
by that, huh?
Yeah. What's the tour going to look like? What are they doing? Derek Hitchner with a birdie on the first playoff hole wins the Korn Ferry Tour event, the Utah Championship, the Ogden Country Club. It was a record-tying 5-man playoff.
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah. You watched some of that on the Golf Channel there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Daniel Summerhays tied for 50 at 13 under. I mean, how good are those pros? Just everybody. It just seems like just 62, 64. And if you're shooting 67, you're just giving up strokes to the field and out of the hunt. Birdies, 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 and more birdies. That is what is trending. Brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Bob Nightingale, Major League Baseball columnist for USA Today, is going to join us at 8:30. And we will talk about...
7:30. It says 7:30.
Yeah, they just moved him. He just changed. We're going to talk about the Skubal trade with him, the Dodgers, the thought of little or no baseball in 2027. Plenty of topics for Bob Nightingale coming up at 8:30. Also later this morning, Stevenson Sylvester, former Utah and NFL linebacker. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoe.
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, as he kicked off and the SEC kicked off their football media day, said that he is not happy whatsoever with what's going on in terms of the Protect College Sports Act. He has had conversations. The conversations about them tearing away from the rest of college athletics is real.
You know, college football, it's ironic that they're against the Save College Football Act. They don't want to be governed. I mean, that's what I keep hearing. The SEC, the Big Ten, they're the ones that keep dragging their feet. Everybody else wants to get this done, but because they feel like they are better than everybody else, they should get a better deal.
I really can't stand this guy. There are certain people out there that are just hell-bent on wrecking things that don't need to be wrecked.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Bike sputtering on me.
Nah, that's not what you want on a cross-country trip.
Yeah, you're telling me. Looks like my journey ends here.
No, mate, you ride with Geico Motorcycle Insurance and got their 24/7 emergency roadside service. They'll fix your bike right up. Where you headed, anyways?
Oh, I'm going to Cromehenge. You ever been?
No, I can't say I have.
It's like Stonehenge, but shiny.
It feels good to ride with help. It feels good to Geico. Emergency roadside service is optional coverage.
Meet Keith, loving dad, board game champ, bus driving pro.
I drive 65,000 miles in my bus each year. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. Like how there are some things I simply can't see. On my route the other day, a car tried to sneak past me and ends up right in my blind spot. I turned slowly, so accident avoided. But no car should be in the blind spot for a 40,000-pound bus. It's our roads. It's our safety.
Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast. An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Join Scotty G and the coach Wednesday in Nephi at the Bar Dub Grill off exit 222 in Nephi. They'll be doing the show live on location from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. DJ PK, it's time for the question of the day. Are the Dodgers to blame for the impending Major League Baseball lockout? There are plenty of people, PK, have filed their comments away that yes, indeed they are. But I got to say, I'm with the minority on this. No, they're not. Have they spent a lot of money? Yes, they have. Have they spent the most money? No, they have not. Have they spent it better than the top 5 or 6 teams? Yes, they have. They found some bargain deals along the way. But I think that the biggest thing, the owner's talking point here is going to be lack of competition. They've won 2 in a row. They're going to win 3 in a row. How can anyone compete? Well, teams have competed. They've been sweating it out in playoff series the last couple of years. They've got about the same record as 2 or 3 other teams right now. It goes back and forth a little bit, but the 3 best records are all pretty close. I think the big thing here is you see the sales of teams in these other sports, and the value's going way up, and baseball teams aren't escalating at the same rate. And whether it's true or not, what has been pegged on is you don't have cost containment, and they do. So the gazillionaires who want to buy into these sports are more likely to buy into basketball or to buy into football than they are baseball. And I think the baseball owners see that. I think that's primarily what's driving this. Now, that's not a great talking point for the owners. So the Dodgers are a much better talking point, and the Dodgers become the talking point. And there is enough truth in it that you can put that argument out there and get people going. But I don't think that's the primary thing. I think it's the value of the franchises.
They've won like 12 out of the last 13 division titles.
Yep, they have.
It's not about the postseason because baseball will always be in that way. Once you get to that point, it becomes who gets a timely hit, who makes an incredible play, and money doesn't factor into it. It's you can't sell hope if you don't have the money to buy that hope. And you can say they spent their money wisely. Well, they got Edwin Diaz that they paid $40 million, and he's given up 8 runs in 9 innings.
They have not spent their money. They have not spent their money perfectly. You're right.
But the fact is, they have the money.
They do.
And the other teams, sure, they didn't spend their money wisely, but then they don't have the other money to make up for not spending the money wisely. That's part of the issue. There's a million things. There's no one thing.
No, I totally buy it. I mean, I remember making that argument about the Yankees 20 years ago. Now it's a different era, but I can remember saying, well, the Padres signed a $10 million player, and if he gets hurt, they're done. Whereas if the Yankees sign a $10 million player, they sign another, and they sign another, and they sign another, and if one of them gets hurt, well, they just turn to the other 3.
This Kyle Tucker has given him nothing. Blake Snell has been injured most of the time.
Yep.
Glasgow has been injured most of the time. Diaz literally is injured all the time. Well, it's no big deal.
Their pitching injuries may end up sinking them. Again, to your point, playoffs, not regular season, but it may end up sinking them.
And it'll always be the disparity. It won't be necessarily the result out on the field. It's the disparity that goes. Every team in the National League West is playing for the wild card. We had last week, Yak pulled a quote from the Iowa coach. And he had said for many years in football, the Big Ten was always playing for third place because for 20 years in the Rose Bowl,
Michigan and Ohio State, yeah.
And so NIL can change that to an extent, and he was making some elaborate point. So every team in the NL West, the most you're going to play for is the wild card. Because over the course of 162, that's the real test, not the course over 7.
That's true, but I don't think the lockout's being driven by the 4 teams in the National League that have been looking up at the Dodgers for 12 of the last 13 years.
That has been looking up at the Dodgers.
Well, I just don't think that's true in the same way because for the other teams, it comes down to the postseason. Now, you could argue for the other teams, like one of the 6 playoff spots is gone,
yeah, but
it's one they can't get anyway.
It's only 4 teams. No, it's not. It's the Angels. It's the Tigers. It's the Cubs. All these teams and it's the Japanese leagues. It's way more than 4 teams. It's a whole league full of teams that are looking up. They lose these guys because they can't afford them. They knew damn well, the Tigers knew damn well, there was no way.
They were not going to keep
So to say that it's just the other teams in the National League West is silly. It's not just the other teams in the National League West.
Well, I brought up the 4 teams in the National League West because you said it's 12 of the last 13 division titles.
Right. And so I started with them. And so you wanted to end with them, but it doesn't end with them.
The Rockies have never come close to putting themselves in position to win anything. So we can have a salary cap, and the Rockies can still mess this up. And it is hard to sell hope, and yet the Padres have done it. They're drawing 40,000 plus, and
because
they're
they
not
have
going to
hope.
win the division. Right.
For a wild card. For a wild card, they have hope for a wild card. Yeah, that's it. If that's your goal, get in the National League West, and you got a decent shot to get in there. Yeah, if the wild card is your goal, Padres are your team.
All this stuff about the Dodgers is true, and we can go into more. You probably got more there. I think there is more. But nonetheless, I think the primary thing motivating these owners is increasing the value of their franchise. And that's why we're going to have a lockout. I think that's why it's going to go deep.
The primary reason of the players is to increase their value. Duh.
Yeah. But they're looking at, hey, are we going to take all this economic pain in 2027 and not open the gates and not get our national TV checks or whatever? And we'll see if they do or don't, if they can get it done before the World Series because they get most of their money for the playoffs. But when you got a chance to make $200, $300, $400, $500 million more, $1 billion more, however much they are projecting that the franchise values will increase, I just don't think this lockout is motivated by all these baseball factors.
It's motivated by everything. I do.
Yeah, I think it's mostly the cash.
Everything is cash. Why wouldn't the players? Why wouldn't Bryce Harper say, "I'm getting $340 million. I'm good to go"? No, I want more. I want the next guy to get more. And then they feel like they have to carry the banner for the dead guys.
Yeah.
They're dead.
Well,
there's nothing to carry for Joe DiMaggio. He's dead.
That's true. But there are some living guys who help them earn what they're earning. And I think for the players, yeah, that's a motivating factor. They don't want to be the ones who caved when other people stood up and helped them make this money.
It's a political battle. We had it with COVID. If you lined up, whatever. I heard a guy say today on the WNBA, I could tell you whether you like Caitlin Clark or not, depending on who you voted for. That's it. They don't know anything about Caitlin Clark, but it's who you voted for and who they perceive she voted for. And it's the same thing here. Wait, you want that? I'm an ex-player? Listening to Earl Hershiser last night. I know what side he's going to come down on. We sat in a room when the NBA was having their lockout. And that's where it gets a little dicey because you got ex-players now who are being paid by NBA teams. And the president of the Jazz at the time, we're in the room. Who's paying your money? Well, we know where he's going to be aligned because he's an ex-player. He has to be. Nobody wants to cross the line. You have to be. And so all the players, they have to be. Whether they want to or not, they have to be. And all the owners over here, whether they want to or not, they have to be. It becomes political. The issues, to a large degree, the public certainly doesn't care about it, but that's what it gets all muddied. You have to take this stance. Even if this stance is so freaking bizarre and you have gone so far over the top. You have to take it because I hate the other guy. That's the world in which we live in today.
If anybody had been talking about that last game with Caitlin Clark, they would have been talking about why they lost, not who got the points and who got doubled and who got hand checked.
Who got the beat?
They would have been talking about who gave up 108 points in a game. That's why you lost.
But they don't.
I know. It was 108 to 100. I'm like, you didn't lose the game.
If you're a player, I already know what you think. If you're an ex-player, I already know what you think. If you hate the guy over here, I already know what you think. You don't have to tell me what you think. And that works across all aisles. And we get so line in the sand, and it has to be drawn, and I've got to be over here, and they're not going to play ball in 27. And then all of them are going to lose. And then we'll have to start over like we did in 94, going into the 95 season. Away we go. That's what's going to happen. And then, in 15 years, it'll recover, and we'll go on, and blah, blah, blah. To me, it's not worth losing any sleep over. They're going to do what they're going to do because they have to do it. That's what it sets up. A salary cap? You might as well say I'm a mass murderer or something. No way. And then the owner, well, look at the Dodgers over here. All these guys that they sign. Oh, they've developed a great system. Who the hell's come up from their system? They're all a bunch of free agent acquisitions or trades.
Well, the guys who are still in their system, they protected the top 5. That's just for the next trade.
Well, but how do I know the top 5 are going to be anything?
You don't.
There's literally been number 1 picks who've sucked.
And even when you're a top prospect, even after you've been good in the minors, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be good in the majors.
Right.
They're guys who shine.
A prospect is just that.
But I suspect that those top 5 are there largely to get dealt in whatever the next trade is.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe so. I don't know. I mean, you can rip the Tigers for this trade, but who knows? I never heard of any of these guys. I'm following the minor leagues to that level. I follow the local team a little bit here, and that's about it. Or you hear of some guys, and that's, when Chris Bryant was coming up for the Cubs, I had heard a lot about him. And so for a while he was pretty good. But is he a Hall of Famer? Not even close.
Yeah, the Padres had a fire sale and traded a guy who was popular and could really hit, and they got a bunch of minor leaguers, and everybody's like, ho hum. Yeah, well, one of them turned out to be Trevor Hoffman, so that worked out.
Right, but
it doesn't always. You don't know.
So I couldn't come close to evaluating the trade because even the people who could come close to evaluating the trade aren't really sure. So.
But get something back because he was going to walk as a free agent.
Yeah. And where does he go?
Yeah. Dodgers.
Yeah. That's a bad look for the game. You can get in the weeds, but under the theory that perception is reality, that's a bad look for the league. To have, and this is what we thought all along. Like the Ohtani getting on a plane and going to Canada. I hope he flew coach and gained miles because he was never going to go sign with Toronto.
Dodgers, baby. Yeah. Stay in L.A.
We all knew it.
Yeah.
And away he goes. Yeah. And they're 2 for 2 with him in the World Series with a chance to go 3 for 3. I mean, they're going to celebrate. What are they going to do? When they clinch the division, are they going to pour champagne? Did they already clinch? I think if they can find out when they unfreeze Ted Williams that he could play, they're going to sign him.
They unfreeze Ted.
Yeah.
Heads up.
If they thought he could play, they would sign him, and he would sign with them.
You just saw the joke about Thanos and the Time Stone, right?
No.
Okay, so social media, they said Thanos from the Avengers movie, the Time Stone, you can go back in time.
Yeah.
They were going to activate their Don Drysdale. They were going to go back and activate all of their legendary pitchers.
Yeah, I saw that.
History.
Signed Drysdale, sure. Yeah. Have him throw some high cheese.
Yeah. Go get Sandy Koufax and bring him back, too. Why not?
Yeah, he's 90. He looks great. So the perception is you're turning off the fan base. And if you turn off the fan base, that's what matters the most. Because then nobody gets the ultimate. But they're all millionaires and billionaires. Am I going to bleed for these guys who don't play next year?
Probably not.
No, life will go on. I mean, it'll suck. It's my favorite sport to watch in the summer. I watched multiple games yesterday. Last week or the week before, I went to 3 ballparks. I'm going to Dodger Stadium here in less than 3 weeks. Yeah, it's something that I enjoy to do. But You take it away, you're going to find something else to do. Away you go. I mean, if I made it through the silly COVID thing where I had to sit in my basement with 5 masks on, I can do this. So away you go. And you can pinpoint this or that, but Joe Fan driving to work today doesn't care about that.
He wants his baseball.
Yeah.
We want our games.
Right.
And we're not going to get them.
Whatever money issues you're fighting over, he or she, they're worried about making a car payment and making a house payment. And if you're renting, well, how the heck am I going to be able to afford a house when the interest rates keep growing? And that makes $1,000 difference. I saw something that the house that I bought a while ago, it would be $1,000 more a month. I wouldn't be able to afford it. And that's what people care about, is that if it affects if it affects your wallet, you care deeply. If it doesn't affect your wallet, to a degree, you care. But do you care deeply compared to things that affect your wallet? No. So whether they have the assessed valuation of the franchise goes up another $40 million or $100 million, that's in one ear and out the other. The perception is the game is slanted hardcore towards that team over there. And they're not to blame. They're just the example for the blame because they're playing by the rules. No one's saying they're breaking any rules. Set up for that, for them to do this, so they do it. I don't blame them. It's not has nothing. I've been a Dodger fan, but I'm not a fan in the way that fans are. But I've been following this team since I'm 15 years old. And I moved to Arizona, and there was nothing out there, and we got the Dodger games on the radio. And I listened religiously for years. And then we ended up with, what was it, WGN, and then the Turner Network, and then away we went. And then you had
cable took over, and
yeah. But I still have followed them and I lived there for a decade. Blah blah blah. So from that perspective, good for them. But we knew it was coming. It was just it was going to come Saturday, was it going to come Sunday, or was it going to come today? But we knew.
When are they going to get the deal done?
Because the deadline is, I think, 4:00 our time today. So it was just a question of when. And heck, I just told you that I've had my tickets now for a few weeks now. I hope like heck he pitches. That'd be awesome.
You'd rather see that than see some bullpen game?
Yes, precisely.
Which they played the Red Sox and wanted the start to go 2 2/3. I mean, essentially.
Yeah, they got swept over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to see that? Right. I would much rather. I thought about doping it out, but I thought, it's too far away.
It is. So there's too many.
I'll wait till we get within a week. My sister went to see Reno. They go gambling in Reno. And
the Reno Aces AAA team.
And she's a big Diamondback fan. She mapped it out to see if this Brandon Pfaadt could pitch. And she literally asked Tony Parks, do you think he'll pitch? Because they put him down, and now since he's been up, he's 5-0. And the game that he started 6 games, and the game that he didn't start, he left in the 7th inning with a 6-0 lead, and they blew it. The guy, for whatever happened down in Reno, I have no idea. But he's come back, and he's looked like Don Drysdale. I'm sure that he's mapping out when he's a free agent so he can sign with the Dodgers. It's just, the perception is right now it's not good. Whether the evaluation of the franchise goes up or down or stays the same or somebody else wins it in October, that won't change. The Dodgers winning it adds to it, but if they lose, it does nothing to take away from the feeling and the perception.
If they lose to the Brewers, who have the 19th best payroll.
And they're a very good team.
Yeah. But didn't get Skubal, which seemed like their best path to winning the World Series, because then you'd have 2 guys. I mean, you'd be awesome when they started games 1 and 2, and you turn them around and run them out there in games 4 and 5.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they get 4 or 5 starts out of Miz and Skubal. They'd have been something.
And who's to say they still can't do it? We'll have to see. And I've heard the argument, well, nobody said anything about the Yankees. Yes, we did.
That was one of the comments. I thought that was ridiculous. We talked about it nonstop.
Yeah.
And the fact is, you just had to weather the storm of the core of guys that they got right. And so they won 4 titles in 5 years.
Yeah.
Had the last 3-peat in baseball. And came very close to 4 in a row, and then The Diamondbacks beat them, in a 7-gamer. But then that core of guys, they age, pitchers get injured, whatever, and they've never been able to put it together again.
Right.
And basically half the teams that are spending money now get it right, and half the teams that spend it get it wrong. The Mets have his biggest payroll, and they've gotten it wrong. And the Dodgers have the second biggest payroll, and they've gotten it right. And the Yankees the third best payroll, and it looked pretty good until a couple key guys got injured.
Well, injuries are the great equalizer and the great destroyer a lot of the times.
And you keep going down the list. Toronto's fourth, and they're not good. But Philly's fifth in payroll, and they're really good.
Yeah, I mean, then you got Bryce Harper saying they're not good enough.
Yep.
And then you got the management going after him for this. So, and it's been that way. Artie Moreno spent millions on the Angels, and he didn't win. They won once. But they signed Rendon. He didn't play a lick. And they signed Pujols, and he got way old. So you're always going to have top spenders are busts, and middle to lower spenders are really good. Yeah. But that doesn't change anything. When the top players, you get the top free agent, you get the top pitcher.
Well, they've been collecting MVPs.
You get the top Japanese players.
Betts is an MVP, they get him. Otani's an MVP, they get him. And you're right. Then you got players coming over from Japan.
And if you're great in Japan, there's a good chance
you're going to be great in the United States.
They've proven over there that they play legitimate, high-quality baseball. And sure enough, last year, they don't win that World Series without Yamamoto. Now, it's funny they don't win it necessarily without Miguel Rojas. And, from that perspective, Max Muncy was left he was a free agent.
Yep.
And he now has the most home runs in Dodger Stadium history. Max Muncy? Who the heck's he? But, he was available. So they have made great moves. You cannot deny that they've made a bunch of great moves. And and Kike Hernandez and this Paez guys who made phenomenal plays in the World Series last year. They don't win without those guys, but they also don't win without the top guys too.
Right. Eric Lauer has been their smart pickup this year, but they still want
Otani. You read the Bob
Ohtani.
Nightingale thing yesterday.
I did.
Because you did, because I told you, and now you read them.
I do.
Because he has good information.
Stuff. Yeah, he does. He has good stuff.
Right. So I don't blame you.
Yeah. I didn't know.
I told you with the intent of that I knew you would do it.
Yeah.
Because you can gain knowledge in 15 minutes.
And I knew about Lauer. I didn't really know about him, but the name was familiar. And so when I looked him up, it's like, oh, well, he was on the Padres. He's been on 4 or 5 teams. I think this is
he's
fourth.
called lightning in a bottle this year so far.
Yeah. Well, his whole career has been he's been up and down. 1 year
But this year he's sensational.
This is his best year, without question. But 1 year his whip is 1.1 or 1.2, and another year it's 1.4, 1.5. And he just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if his mechanics get off. I don't know if he's battled injuries, so he's off a little bit. But whatever it is, he's up and down. And right now he's on fire.
It's just a question of when they come to that acceptable medium. I don't think it'll be a happy medium. It'll be the ball players and the fans and all the people who rely on that stuff for their income. They will be happy to get back out on the field, but it will be something that'll be begrudging, I think, on both sides.
I think the owners are going to get. I think owners are going to get better results this time. In the past, they've made so much money they haven't wanted to give it up. At least half the season. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the entire one. I don't know how fast the players are going to give in, but I think when you're looking at a valuation going up by $500 million or $1 billion or $1.5 billion, depending on what kind of deal they can get, that enables you to think, well, I can lose this money in the short run because I'm going to get it back in the long run. And the last time we did this 30 years ago, 32 years ago, I guess, 33 by the time it happens, the valuations weren't like this, so there wasn't a prospect of I'm going to get my money back down the road. And you don't necessarily have to sell the whole team. You could even start getting your money back by selling minority shares, sell 10 or 20%.
But every one of them will get their money back.
But now they're going to get more money back.
Even if it doesn't go up from today versus next year or the year after, the price that they paid for is way less.
Yep.
So they have all made a profit.
Yes, 100% believe that. But I think that it's going to accelerate and they're going to make even more of a profit.
Of course.
And that's going to enable them to accept more pain, which will give them a better chance of getting what they want. And they'll have to give up some things. I mean, I think clearly with the salary cap, there'll have to be a salary floor. Some of these teams just aren't spending money. And, there's still, I don't know what it is, 6 teams? I think 6 teams that have payrolls under $100 million.
And that will be prevented.
And that will be changed. There'll be a salary floor.
Because they know that that's a joke.
Yeah.
And they'll give up that in a heartbeat.
Yep.
I also wish that they would be able to understand that they don't own this game. These players don't own this game. These owners don't own this game. We own the game. And they're stewards. And their stewardships, you could F it up. And that's sad.
I think there's a minority of owners and players who look at it that way.
I wish they would.
A small minority.
You own a plumbing company, you own a furniture store, you own a Dairy Queen. Yeah, that's yours. We don't want it. We don't own it. But we own the game. We, the general public.
All these teams are making money and accelerating in value, and yet we're seeing owners leverage stadiums and arenas and stay put, and we're seeing them try to leverage and then move teams. I mean, it's the Blazers now, but, man, the last 25 years has never been more money in sports, and teams are moving left and right.
Yeah, I know. So
they don't view them as
innocent.
Yeah, they don't view them as stewards. They view them as owners, and it's my team, and I'll go where I want and do what I want. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Stay with us. More baseball with Bob Nightingale at 8:30.
They've been doing it for a while.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
I think the Jazz want to make the playoffs this year, and they really have no motivation for not making the playoffs this year because their draft pick goes to the Memphis Grizzlies in the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. How motivated are the Jazz actually going to feel to maximize the win total of this roster using all the assets available to them to get there? My guess is it's actually not as high as fans would think because they don't have to do anything exactly right.
The truth is they are dedicated to it. But that doesn't mean they have to do anything about it right now.
Sure.
But no, not one person in that building, if you went up to them and said, hey, is the Bosnian Beak your answer at center? Not one of them is going to say yes.
Right. Or Jackson Hayes.
Or any of that. No, they're not.
Yeah.
So, yes, they do need to address the problem, for sure. Do they need to address it right now?
I don't think so.
Absolutely not. No, why would they?
Catch Jake and Ben, afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Don't miss your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. Next week, you can win tickets to see the Black Crows at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater, August 13th. Listen to KSL Sports Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. So while I was away, LeBron James goes to Philadelphia. How did Jazz fans handle that? Was it largely a shrug going to an Eastern team? Jazz have their own issues with their own rebuild. We can get to them in the next segment.
Well, I think as far as related to the Jazz, I don't think it was much of a stir. LeBron is unto himself, and the Jazz aren't worried about who they're going to be playing in the finals. That'd be great. Hopefully, there'll come a time because there was a time that was obviously there, and this one here being over there with the Jazz, I think the Jazz excitement is just that. People are extremely excited about the team and the anticipation that we get to have. Just the fact that you're trying to win, even if you don't win, the fact that you're trying to win makes it better. Well, now, okay, combine that with trying to win and have a good chance at winning. I was listening on the radio this week, driving around, and they were talking about which teams in the West got better. And Antonio Daniels, remember him as a player?
I do.
He went right to the Jazz. He went down the list, and no, maybe, definitely not. We'll see. Jazz, yes. So I think as far as that goes, with LeBron, that was a move for him, and he made it, and we'll see what happens there. So from the Jazz perspective, I think it's news making, but it's not personally affecting the team at all. If anything, you can argue it makes the Lakers weaker. We shall see about that, what they do. I mean, we're not really sure, but you can argue that. So that could benefit them if they have the opportunity to pick up wins that maybe would have been harder to accumulate.
Philly's got a lot of talent, and they may have too many scorers, and we'll see if they do a good job of balancing that. And if someone's, who's going to take a smaller role, who'll take less shots, who will do the dirty work, who's going to defend and rebound. Everybody wants the ball and everybody wants to take shots. That's the nature of the sport. So there's plenty of questions in Philly, but there is a ton of talent. But I still wonder how much it's going to come down to. Is Embiid going to be healthy for the playoffs? They can get through the regular season and win enough games and be in a good enough spot going into the playoffs. But if they don't have him in the postseason, and can he stay healthy for 2 months, still seems like a huge question mark and a huge roll of the dice. But they're interesting to be sure. I think they were already interesting. I think the thing, and this is the thing the Jazz and everybody else needs going forward, if it works for Philly, the biggest reason then is that they have two players who are worth a lot more money than they're getting paid. And it's one because he's really young and he's on his rookie contract, and it's one because he's old and he was willing to do it to go to this situation. And there didn't appear to be anybody who would give him, what he could command in his prime, the tens of millions of dollars that he would have gotten. Depending on the era and the cap, 40, 50, 60, now $70 million deals are out there. But not for him at this point in his career. So they have two guys who should provide value way over what they're getting in salary. And that's what every team needs. Those are the guys. If you don't have them, it's hard to win. It's hard. I think Denver's feeling that as much as anybody. It's like they got a great player at the height of his power, and he's healthy most of the time, and yet it's one title. Came together one time, but they don't have those guys. And we'll take a break, and we can get to that and spending your money wisely, where these two stories, where the LeBron story and where the Skubal story intersect and overlap. And we will get to that next. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.